and welcome to Malika Writes, the channel, and my name is Malika. I shall be your host for today and for the foreseeable future. So this is a dark academia channel and we shall be having 2 videos a week, so that's Tuesday and Friday. On Tuesday we'll have a series called Weekly Chit Chat where we talk about various afternoon tea type topics, such as what is beauty, very light topics, art, all that stuff. And on Friday we'll have our deeper topics, about the essential crisis of life. And so today I wanted to open up by answering the question, what is dark academia? You may have heard of this aesthetic before, and since this is a dark academia channel, I wanted to take the first video to sort of talk about it and just give my general view on it and address some of the issues with the aesthetic so that we know where we stand in terms of where this channel is going. So dark academia essentially is one of those aesthetics where the lifestyle influences the fashion more than the fashion sort of influences the lifestyle. The lifestyle contains of reading books for hours on end and then discussing them with a group of friends or discussing them online. It's a sort of lifestyle that demands that you read a lot, that you ponder on works of classical literature, because the whole dark academia is aesthetic looks at classical literature and the love of classical literature. It is intellectual curiosity made an aesthetic. So today, just as a quick detour, I will be drinking some lemongrass tea to help with the immune system in these terrible times. So, what is dark academia? So we've addressed that it's an aesthetic that really focuses more on the lifestyle element. The fashion element is very simple. We have a lot of tweed because we're going for the sort of university professor look. So that's glasses, very simple jewellery, your Oxfords and your brogues, your cigarette pants, and your tweed blazer and jackets. And we do have a little bit of a flamboyant side, because anyone who has ever read Keats' poetry is not able to leave that experience without coming out of it a little bit more flamboyant. So we have the poet sleeve shirts, a lot of brown, coffee, sort of your beige colours as well, which really help to give the aesthetic this kind of very nostalgic feeling. So let's also talk about the claims that have come along with dark academia. For those who don't understand it, it can raise up some issues. It's stereotypically a very white space, so people are sometimes fearful about the aesthetic, and I'm here to put those claims to rest. The aesthetic is not racist. To call it racist is to deny all of the works of art and literature that we've gotten from the Gulf and Africa. And the aesthetic is not pretentious. It's an expression of passion. It's looking at classical literature and works of the past, looking at humanity's history and really understanding where we're going as a people. It's about having a fixed goal. It's about connecting with the universal muse. It's something that speaks very deeply to us. It's about looking at humans' virtues and their vices and looking at our triumphs and our tragedies and putting it in a really beautiful work of art and sharing it. It's an aesthetic that is about being passionate about learning and the process of gaining information, not necessarily for power or prestige, but to ascend the very common, to accept a very common kind of existence. We want to connect to something higher, and literature essentially is the tapestry of life. It's what gives us this connection to this human story, to this huge tapestry called the universe. So dark academia is not pretentious in any way. It is just people doing what they've always done, trying to look out of themselves and see a kindly reflection looking back at them. And we find this in literature. what we see may sometimes disturb us or cause us to have certain kind of anxieties, but ultimately it's a very cathartic process. And the last claim that I often hear about dark academia is that it is elitist. Now, this is one that is slightly harder to disprove. That is because in order to truly appreciate the classics, one has to sit down for a very long time reading a particular book and pondering on it. The classics are not books that you can read on the train and just breeze past. Anyone who has ever had to endure Ulysses will tell you that is very true. The classics require a steady mind, a very focused and fixed person to sit down and appreciate them for all the genius that has been put into them. You can't rush over them in order to get the true sense out of them, because we're not just looking at the story, we're looking at how the characters push it forward, we're looking at the linguistic sort of expertise that the writer portrays, we're looking at the context, we're looking at everything that makes up this classical work, and we're looking at how it related to the author and to the audience. So it's not something, it's very comprehensive, it's very English comprehension but brought into real life. And so I think those elements of dark academia are what make it elitist, because in order to really appreciate these works of art, usually you would have to come from a background that is privileged enough to have exposed you to these things. It's not easy to have the time or to have the mental peace that financial stability gives you to appreciate works of literature, especially when you have to go to university. And most people go to university to study a course that will give them a job, that has a job on the horizon. Whereas with studying the classics and English literature, the jobs don't come springing at you. So that's one thing that's made it a little bit elitist. But that being said, libraries are open. You can, even if you don't have a card, you can sit in the library and read a book and really let yourself get lost in the literature. You can come every day. I mean, Matilda did it. And it's not something that is specifically for a certain type of people. It's something that's available to everyone. Anyone can go online and download a digital book on a Kindle. It's something that is open and is just waiting for you to come into it, because at the end of the day it is just about self-improvement and finding oneself, but we're doing it through literature, whereas some people may do it through rock climbing or extreme water sport. So that really lays to rest all those claims. So if you really want to find out the sort of feeling behind dark academia, I would recommend reading The Secret History by Donna Tartt. It is a very, very good book. Every time I read it, and I've read it more than 4 times, every time I read it, something new pops out, and it's a brilliant book. I would also recommend reading Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. It's not a dark academia book, however it is a brilliant classic. One of her other works that I really love is North and South. I think those books are really, really good in terms of getting a broader understanding of the surrounding of the type of context. They really bring in the context very well. In North and South, we have the sort of battle between pastoral England and industrial England. In Wives and Daughters, we really look at the relationship between mothers and their daughters, and also stepmoms and their daughters. And we see how women operate in a world where they didn't have as many rights, but they're made so human. And I think that's a really good thing in terms of books. And the classics do it well. A lot of the classics portray characters, not for the sake of having them, save the day and have no troubles, but they portray characters that we can relate to, characters that either show our worst sides or they show our best sides. So I think those are really the books that I would recommend for now. I will recommend a lot more on Friday's episode, but those are the books I will leave you with for now. So if you liked this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell, because we know YouTube likes to mess with that bell. And I will see you on Friday, where we will be discussing The Queen's Gambit, which is a Netflix series that has been quite popular. I'm a bit of a chess fan, so I'm looking forward to talking about that. See you next time on the Malika Writes channel.